Hello there. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Janet Roper, and I am an animist, an elder, and a communicator. And all I can say is I just have a lot of fun doing all of that, because one of the things that it allows me to do is to connect with the animals and with the other beyond human sentient beings, which I just adore doing. It's a lot of fun. So welcome, and thank you for coming today. And what I'm going to be talking about today is one of the services that I offer is an advisory session. It's an audience with the Advisory Council. And what's really unique about this is that the Advisory Council is made up of my angel horse Shiloh, my angel dog Teddy, and my cat Raven that I live with on a day-to-day basis. And so the way this is set up is that it's all done by email, and it's specifically for humans. And you, the human, get to send in one question that I give to the animals, to the Advisory Council. And then they tell me what their thoughts, what their guidance is on your question, and I email it back to you. And it's really simple. It's really easy peasy to do, and it's fun to do. And one of the things that I love about it, besides being easy peasy for all involved, is that I think sometimes when we're working along our spiritual path and we're receiving information, spiritual information, we think it's got to be hard and it's got to be blood, sweat, and tears. Well, the fun thing about the Advisory Council is that it is not blood, sweat, and tears. It's fun. You get serious information, which will help you seriously with what you're looking for, but it's not by going on the rack or anything like that. It's not having any kind of adverse, difficult things to go through. It's fun, it's simple, it's easy to do. So, as I said, it's all done by email. You get one question and they give you the answer. And I think that's one of the surprising things for folks, is that at least I know for me that when I've had intuitive sessions done, I get tons of information. Like more information that I can usually cope with. Now, having said that, I will raise my hand and say I'm a 7 on the Enneagram and that I am an Aquarius, so my mind is all over the place, right? And that may not be you at all. But for some of us whose mind is all over the place, we're taking in all this information and we're trying to put it all together. It can be daunting to get 43 to 47 pages, no exaggeration, 43 to 47 pages, as I did on my last astrological reading. And that put me in overwhelm. Can I say that? Now, granted, that astrological reading was for the entire year, and it was not just one simple question, but still 43 to 47 pages of information just did this little Aquarian in. So the information that you receive from the Advisory Council is not, thankfully, 43 to 47 pages long. It's usually 2 to 3 paragraphs long. And one of the questions that the people have been asking me, those who are interested in it and those who are getting ready to sign up for a session, one of the questions that they have been asking is, Janet, how do you implement changes with so little information? And I got to say, that's really a good question. It's a very good question, as a matter of fact, because it's not overload. Okay, it's simple. It's what's needed at that moment in time. So the Advisory Council is for you if you're at a crossroads in your life and you're thinking, what the hell? What do I do? I don't know if I should do A or B or C or D or what's going on. So you can submit that question to the Advisory Council. And what really makes it unique and what I love is that you are getting information, not from me, I'm just the one who types it, and is the go-between, but you're getting information from animals that are providing a service to the humans. Usually with animal communication, it's the human providing service to the animals, right? Well, now in the advisory sessions, we've turned that around, or I shouldn't say we have. Shiloh and Teddy and Raven have turned that around. And it's the human getting information from the animals, that is guidance. And it's just really cool. So like I said, this is all done by email. You send me your one question. And I think it was the last episode that I did, or the last Facebook Live that I did, talked about how to structure your question. If you got questions about that, you can let me know. And I will help you with that. But you send your one question to me, and I will put all the information down in the comments below. I turn around and I send the information to the advisory council. They have their meeting and they come up with their guidance. They send it to me and then I email it back to you. So again, with as little information as 2 to 3 paragraphs long, okay, because these advisory council sessions are not long, okay, or the guidance that you receive for them, it's not long. It's pretty explicit and to the point. How does that little bit of information, how do you use that in order to make big changes? So for instance, I wanted to do a test drive of this service to see how it was running. And since, I wasn't involved, it was really easy for me to just talk to Shiloh and Teddy and Raven and to ask them my question. So the word that popped out for me was choice. And when I first heard that, I thought, yeah, right. We've all got choices. We all make choices, yada, yada, yada. And I kind of wrote it off big time. And then I got called in on the carpet for writing it off. Because the trick was discovering what the advisory council meant when they used that word specifically for me and specifically for the question that I had submitted to them. So what I needed to do was I needed to, you read the spiritual books, you read the guidance, you hear from the gurus, we've all got choices. And it was what I was carrying with me was that guidance from the gurus. I was not listening to what Shiloh and Teddy and Raven had to say when they used the word choice. So I had to get rid of all of that. So some of the ways that you can use this information, okay, when you sign up for an advisory session or advisory council session with the boys, some of the ways that you can use this information is don't assume that you know what they mean. Speaking, from hard experience here, when I assumed I knew what they meant, I got called up on the carpet. Now, I have a different relationship with them than you have with them, right? Because I've lived with these animals, some of them for decades. And they're going to talk to me differently than they talk to you. But it's still important to don't assume that you think you know what they mean. Be open and willing to explore. So if you get a word, okay, I'll just use my word choices. If you get that word, what does it mean for you? Not what does it mean for Janet? What does it mean for somebody else? And that's Max, who is barking, that's Max, who has made the choice to bark because somebody is walking along the road here. So if you get the word choice or whatever word you get, okay, don't automatically assume that it means the same thing that you think it means, because chances are it doesn't. One of the great things about the sessions is that what they invite you to do is to open your mind to different possibilities, to explore different ways of thinking, to cast your old thinking or your old assumptions aside and to start thinking in a new light. So what you need to do when you receive your word or your phrase, whatever it might be, is pretend like you're an alien. Pretend like you just came from Mars or Jupiter or wherever, okay? And you are hearing this word for the first time. What does it mean to you? Or you're hearing that phrase for the first time. What does it mean to you? What are the expansions that you can use? What are the ways that you can explore this and look at it differently? So another way that you can use this information from the advisory council is to start to identify patterns and themes in your life. When I looked at the word choice, for me, it really opened up a can of worms. And I was going, wow, this is just incredible. I didn't realize I was doing that. And so when you start looking at the patterns and when you start looking at the themes that are going on in your life through the perspective of that word or that phrase you're given, that really turns things around and it opens up doors and windows for you, okay? Now, doors and windows may not open up immediately, okay? But they will open up if you are willing to look at the open doors and look at the open windows. And it might take some sitting with it, okay? I found that when I was sitting with that word choice, that I needed to continue working with that word and being with that word after our initial session. So that's number 3, is to continue to work with the information you receive. after your initial reading of the email. Now, if you're a good human, like most of us are, and particularly if you're a good American, you've got that to-do list and you're just checking it off right then and there. Okay, I've opened the email, I've read it, I've seen what the phrase is. Okay, done. No, not done. Okay, because this takes time to sit with it and again to explore and again to discover the possibilities that are new to you within that phrase or within that word. And then the fourth thing that I can say is to savor the process. Okay, savor the process and go with the flow of it. It's most likely going to be a process, and it's most likely going to take time. It's most likely not going to be like you're struck by lightning. That can happen, okay? But what I've observed from these sessions that I facilitated with the boys for other people is that it's not a flash. It's not a hit on the head by a 2x4. It's a matter of sitting with it and processing with it and seeing how that word or that phrases changes for you from when you first open that email to like 3 days later, 4 days later, a week later. Because we got to remember that transformation takes time. And these sessions with the advisory council, they're all about transformation. So I will put some links down in this Facebook Live, whatever you call it, in the comments section. And if you have any questions, just let me know. And I hope you are having a magnificent and a wonderful day.